one whom young and old, wherever the English language is spoken, have been accustomed to regard as a personal friend is suddenly taken away from among us. Charles Dickens is no more. The loss of such a man is an event which makes ordinary expressions of regret seem cold and conventional. It will be felt by millions as nothing less than a personal bereavement. Statesmen, men of science, philanthropists, the acknowledged benefactors of their race, might pass away and yet not leave the void which will be caused by the death of Dickens. They may have earned the esteem of mankind. Their days may have been passed in power, honor, and prosperity. They may have been surrounded by troops of friends, but however preeminent in station, ability, or public services, they would not have been, like our great and genial novelist, the intimate of every household. Such a position is attained not even by one man in an age. It needs an extraordinary combination of intellectual and moral qualities to gain the hearts of the public as Dickens has gained them. Extraordinary and very original genius must be united with good sense, consummate skill, a well-balanced mind, and the proof of a noble and affectionate disposition before the world will consent to enthrone a man as their unassailable and enduring favourite. This is the position which Mr. Dickens has occupied with the English and also with the American public for the third of a century. If we compare his reputation with that of the number of eminent men and women who have been his contemporaries, we have irresistible evidence of his surpassing merits. His is the department of literature in which ability in our time has been abundant of the Elizabethan age turned to the drama, so that of the reign of Victoria seeks expression in the novel. There is no more extraordinary phenomenon than the number, the variety, and the general high excellence of the works of fiction in our own day. Their inspirations are as many as the phases of thought and social life. They treat not only love and marriage, but of things political and ecclesiastical, of social hearings and sceptical disputes. They give us revelations from the inferior of fashion and from the basis of crime. Their authors have their admirers, their party, their public, but not the public of his peculiar fortune to appeal to that which is common to all sorts and conditions of men, to excite the interest of the young and the uninstructed without choking the more refined taste of a higher class and a more mature age. Thus the news of his death will hardly meet the eye of an educated man or woman who has not read his works and who has not been accustomed to think of him with admiration and friendly regard. There is something terrible in sudden death, and when we hear that Dickens is gone, we cannot but recall how Thackeray died before him, also in the vigour of age and apparently in the fullness of health. Dickens has lived longer than his great rival, for he was born only a year after, and he has survived him several years. But he has been cut off while still in what may be called middle age. He was born in February 1812, and has consequently not long attained his 58th year. As men live and work now, this is an age which will give the hope of many years of successful exertion, to be succeeded by a period of honoured repose. But we have this consolation, that the life of Dickens has been long enough to allow full scope for his genius and to enable him not only to earn, but to enjoy his fame. In this respect, his career has been extraordinary. He was one whose miraculous powers were developed early, and he attained the highest eminence in the first years of his literary career. It is certainly a wonderful phenomenon that a book like Pickwick, the pages of which overflow with humor and are marked in every sentence with the keenest observation of men and things, should have been produced by a young man of 24. After the light but clever sketches by Booth, Dickens began Pickwick in 1836 and finished it in the course of the succeeding year. We are inclined to think that this, the first considerable work of the author, is his masterpiece. But, whatever may be the world's decision on this point, it can hardly be doubted that the prize must be given to one of the group of fictions which he produced within the first 10 or 12 years of his literary life. Themes with wit, and the characters, with one or two exceptions, are lifelike in the extreme. Oliver Twist everybody knows. Martin Chuzzlewit is excellent, and the American portions are not only the most amusing satire that has been published in the present age, but fill us with wonder that the peculiarities of thought, manner, and diction of a people should be so surely seized and so unimitably expressed by a young writer who had been only a few months in the country. In this marvellous precocity of genius, Dickens formed a contrast to some of those with whom a comparison naturally suggests itself. Scott was 35 years old before he published his first great poem, The Lay of the Last Minstrel, and it was nearly 10 years afterwards, in 1814, that he made his experiment as a novelist with Waverley. So, too, Thackeray, though known for some time in the field of literature, made his first great success with Vanity Fair when no longer a young man. Of Dickens it may be said also that his early books show no signs of juvenility. When young in years, he showed the mental balance of an experienced and yet what freshness and vigor there were in those wonderful serials which, about the time the present queen came to the throne, changed the popular literature of the day. When that young, unknown author appeared on the field, it was at once hailed as the new chief of popular fiction. It is a long time ago, but our older readers will remember the excitement caused by the Pickwick papers. The shilling numbers of both carried everything before them. They were read here by tens of thousands, though the reading public 30 years ago was not what it is now, and they were reprinted in every possible form in America. In fact, half the newspapers in the States transferred them to their columns bodily, the day after their arrival. This popularity they fully deserved. They are among the few books of the kind that one can return to again and again, or, having opened at any page, can read straight on, carried forward by a sense of real enjoyment. Stand out in real flesh and blood, and in this respect are superior to those of Thackeray, which, though excellently designed, show too much the art of an able sketcher from artificial types. For this reason, Thackeray, though he has always maintained his hold on the London world in which his personages figure, has never come near Dickens in popularity with the great mass of the people. The characters of Dickens have been accepted by all men's discernment as the true reflection of human nature, not merely of manners is to everybody
customs.
the low, tyrannical schoolmaster, Bumble, the representative of parochial pomposity, Mrs. Gamp is the type of her vulgar, hard-hearted sisterhood. Perhaps a more signal proof of the genius of Dickens is the manner in which his style and diction have penetrated into the ordinary literature of the country. So much has become naturalized and is used quite unconsciously that it is only by rereading those earlier works which most impressed his contemporaries that one becomes aware how great has been these remarks without paying a tribute to the moral influence of the writings of which we have spoken. Mr. Dickens was a man of an eminently kindly nature, and full of sympathy for all around him. This, without being paraded, makes itself manifest in his works, and we have no doubt whatever that much of the active benevolence of the present day, the interest in humble persons and humble things, and the desire to seek out and relieve every form of misery is due to the influence of his works. We have lost one of the foremost Englishmen of the age. There are clever writers enough, but no one who will take the place, literary and social, that belonged to him. It was but the other day that at the Royal Academy banquet he made the best speech of the evening, in matter language and manner. His powers as an actor are well known, though, of late years, they have been only exhibited in the narrower field of public readings. He was made to be popular, and even irrespective of his literary genius, was an able and strong-minded man, who would have succeeded in almost any profession to which he devoted himself. We can but condole with the public on his sudden and premature loss.